Chosen one. Pause for a moment. Feel that stirring in your spirit that is heaven calling your attention. You are not meant to stumble upon these words by chance. This is divine appointment. Something in the unseen is moving, aligning, preparing. The clock of heaven has been counting down, and this week, this Friday, is the day marked for your divine release. You may not fully understand it yet, but you can feel it. The strange heaviness that's been sitting on your chest. The restlessness that won't let you settle. It's not anxiety. It's your spirit recognizing that the atmosphere around you is about to shift. Heaven has already signed your next chapter into existence. The pain you've endured, the silence you've survived, and the rejection you faced were never meant to destroy you. They were designed to shape you into the vessel ready to carry what's coming. You've been hidden, refined, and stretched when you wanted to quit. Something inside you wouldn't let you. That was not your own strength. That was divine preservation. God was keeping you alive for a reason greater than your current understanding. And now, as time inches closer to Friday, heaven whispers that the season of waiting is about to turn into a season of release. But before blessings are poured out, God always checks the posture of the heart. You cannot hold what's meant for you if your hands are still clenched around what's meant to end. Let go of the fear, the bitterness, the questions of why me, and make room for what's about to enter. Because when heaven delivers, it does not arrive in pieces. It comes complete, perfect, and right on time. Sometimes the final test before overflow is not about endurance, but about trust. God watches to see if you'll surrender what you cannot control and believe that He is still good even when nothing makes sense. Release control. Your faith in the unseen invites miracles into motion. And remember, chosen one, surrender is not weakness, it is spiritual alignment. When you release what no longer serves your purpose, you prove that your heart values obedience more than outcome. That single act of trust opens heaven's gates wider than striving ever could. Divine timing responds to yielded hearts. The ancient promise echoes even now, as Jesus Himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 33. But seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. These words are not about striving, they are about surrender. When your focus is on God, everything attached to your purpose will find you. The opportunities, the restoration, the resources, they will be added, not chased. Chosen one. Your faith has been tested because your reward will be great. You didn't know it, but every silent act of obedience was counted. Every time you forgave instead of fighting back, every time you trusted when fear screamed louder, heaven recorded it. Nothing has been wasted. God has seen the tears that never touched the floor, and each one has become a seed for your harvest. This Friday, something will shift tangibly. For some, it will be a message, a call, an open door. For others, it will be an inner release, a peace so deep it confirms that the war has ended. Whatever form it takes, you will know it was divine because it will come with unmistakable clarity and timing that only God could arrange. Stay alert, beloved. In these few days leading up to Friday, distractions will multiply. People may misunderstand you. Emotions might rise. But this is the enemy's last attempt to pull you out of position. Do not react, remain still. You are closest to breakthrough when the noise gets the loudest. Stand firm in your faith and keep your spirit pure. If this message stirs your heart, don't scroll past it, act on it. This is your confirmation that you are walking into a season of divine alignment. Like, share, and subscribe as a declaration that you receive what heaven is about to release into your life. Let your digital action become a spiritual seed, and before you go, Seal this moment in faith. Comment the number 777 below to declare that you are aligned with heaven's perfect order, that you trust the timing, and that you are ready for what's about to arrive this Friday. Heaven has circled your name, chosen one. The countdown is almost over. Chosen one, now that you have heard the sound of heaven's clock ticking, you begin to notice the whispers that surround your spirit. God has been speaking softly, not through thunder or lightning, but through quiet nudges in your soul. You have seen small signs, strange alignments, unexpected pauses, a sudden awareness that something beyond the natural is unfolding. These are not coincidences, they are divine indicators. Heaven never shouts to the distracted, it whispers to the listening. For a long time, you prayed for clear answers, yet heaven gave you silence. But silence to the chosen one is not absence, it is instruction. In stillness, God trains your sensitivity. He makes your ears able to recognize His voice amid the storm. And now, that voice is returning not in the chaos but in the calm before transformation. The whisper you feel right now is not random emotion, it is divine confirmation. When God prepares to bless you, He first prepares your discernment. You are learning to tell the difference between divine opportunity and clever distraction. This is why certain doors you wanted so badly to open were locked tight. It wasn't rejection, it was protection. Heaven could not allow you to step into something that would sabotage your destiny. So instead, God led you by whispers, not by sight. Remember, the greatest revelations are not shouted in crowds but spoken in solitude. The prophets did not hear God's secrets in noise but in the still, sacred places of waiting. It is in these quiet rooms that heaven releases strategy. Chosen one. This is the season to listen more than you speak. God is revealing mysteries that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard, but they will come to you in stillness. The whisper may sound like conviction, a sudden knowing, or a gentle pull away from things that used to excite you. You are not losing interest in life. You are shifting from earthly frequency to heavenly wavelength. You are outgrowing spiritual noise, and your spirit is beginning to crave clarity. Every whisper you obey this week builds the bridge toward your Friday blessing. Heaven often begins transformation in silence because noise breaks concentration. Think about it, seeds do not grow in storms, they grow underground, unseen. Likewise, God has been working beneath the soil of your soul, rearranging, refining, preparing. When you could not see results, He was forming roots. You thought nothing was happening, but heaven was constructing everything. And now, the divine whisper says, stay still and expect. There is no need to chase, prove, or force. The harvest will come to those who stayed faithful through obscurity. The hand of God is about to move without warning, and those who have been still enough to hear will be the first to see. As the ancient scrolls remind us, according to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. That is your instruction for this season. You cannot reason your way into this breakthrough. You must trust your way into it. Faith, not logic, will open the next door. Chosen one, the whisper of God is sacred. Do not trade it for the applause of men. Many cannot hear what you hear because they were not called to carry what you carry. That is why isolation often precedes elevation. When God sets you apart, it may look like loneliness, but it is actually positioning. He separates you to speak to you. And when the voice of heaven becomes clear, you will realize that what looked like loss was really alignment. In these quiet days before Friday, protect your atmosphere. Limit the noise, both in your mind and your surroundings. Spend time in the Word. Even for a few minutes, He will meet you there. Let His whisper correct, comfort, and guide. You are being fine-tuned for destiny. Every act of surrender, every moment of obedience, amplifies your ability to hear what others miss. Soon, what was whispered in secret will be shouted in manifestation. What you felt in faith will become visible fact. The things God has been preparing behind the veil will break through suddenly, and it will all make sense. You will look back and realize that every confusing delay, every painful silence, every not yet was God saying, I am building something eternal in you. So listen, chosen one. Do not rush ahead of heaven's timing. Every whisper is a step. Every nudge is direction. You are not lost, you are being led. Let peace be your confirmation, not pressure. When it is from God, it won't demand panic. It will carry quiet assurance. There will come a moment when the whisper becomes a word, and that word becomes a wonder. Until then, walk softly, listen deeply, and trust fully. Heaven is closer than it feels. Chosen one, every battle you faced was never random. The sleepless nights, the silent tears, the betrayals that left you questioning your worth, each of them has been shaping something divine within you. You've been walking through the fire, not to be consumed, but to be refined. The pain was the training ground for purpose. You might have wondered why your journey has felt heavier than others, why you've carried burdens no one seemed to notice. It's because you were chosen to carry what ordinary hearts could not bear. You were never meant to fit in, because your calling was designed to stand out. The weight you've carried was preparation for the glory that's about to rest upon you. Heaven saw every time you kept going when quitting would have been easier. You smiled when your spirit was breaking, prayed when you had no strength left, and forgave when bitterness would have been justified. That strength did not come from you. It came from the one who has been walking beside you even when you couldn't feel him. You've been through hidden battles that few will ever understand. The mental fights, the doubts, the quiet wars in your heart where faith and fear collided daily. Yet here you are, still standing, still believing, still hoping. That alone is proof of divine favor. The enemy tried to destroy your mind because he knew your mission would destroy his works. But he failed. You are still breathing, still rising, and your survival is a threat to the darkness. The Spirit reminds you today nothing you lost was wasted. Every tear became a seed. Every heartbreak became a lesson. Every setback was a setup for the greater that's coming, what you call pain. Heaven calls preparation. You were not being punished, you were being purified. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. The Word of God declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 30, verse 5, "Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning." This is not poetic comfort. It is a divine promise. Your morning is not a distant dream, it is approaching. Friday will not just be another sunrise. It will be a sign that the long night has ended. The same God who allowed you to walk through the valley is now calling you out of it. The pain that once tried to bury you will soon announce your resurrection. But before the joy comes, you must release the bitterness. Let go of the desire to prove yourself, to explain yourself, or to get even. Those who rejected you were never meant to understand you. They were meant to witness what God will do through you. You are the living proof that endurance produces elevation. The enemy's greatest mistake was not attacking you, it was not finishing you, because the moment you survived, the tables turned. What once was used to break you will now build you. God is about to make your scars shine as symbols of survival. Every mark of pain becomes evidence of purpose fulfilled. Chosen one, you are entering a season where divine payback will manifest. The very places that caused your tears will be the places of testimony. The people who doubted your worth will see undeniable favor resting upon you. Not because you sought revenge, but because you stayed righteous, and heaven always honors humility. Do not underestimate how close you are to breakthrough. The warfare increases when the reward draws near. You may still feel weary, but remember the dawn always feels coldest before the sun breaks through. That's where you are now, right before the light. This is the moment to strengthen your heart. Speak life over yourself. Say it aloud if you must, I will not break here. There is power in your declaration. Heaven listens when faith speaks. Your endurance is no longer survival, it's testimony in progress. Now, to seal this truth in your spirit, perform this simple act of faith. Comment, I rise again. Write it as a declaration that no matter how many times life has knocked you down, you will always rise. You are not the same person who walked through that pain. You are wiser, purer, and spiritually stronger. When you type those words, you are not just commenting, you are prophesying. You're announcing to heaven and to hell alike that your season of mourning has turned into a season of movement. Because you see, chosen one, what's ahead is worth everything it took to get here. Friday's blessing will not just restore what you lost, it will multiply it. You will soon understand why you had to be stretched, why you had to wait, and why you had to endure. Every unanswered question will find its meaning in what's about to be revealed. The darkness tried to convince you that your story was over, but it only signaled that a new chapter was beginning. The fire that once scared you will now light your path. The trials that once broke you will now build your platform. Your purpose was never buried, it was planted, and this is your season to bloom. Hold your head high, chosen one. You've passed through the shadows, and now light is chasing you. The time for tears is ending. The time for testimony is here. Chosen one, as the days unfold and the promise of Friday draws closer, heaven begins to weigh hearts. It is not about how loudly you pray or how eloquently you speak, it is about how purely you believe. While others rush ahead trying to make things happen, you are called to stand still and watch God move. The process may look slow, but divine timing is never delayed. It is precise. Every moment you feel forgotten is actually the moment God is adjusting circumstances to fit the miracle He planned for you. Heaven's gaze has never left you. Every act of kindness that no one saw, every tear shed in silence, every sacrifice made in faith, all of it has been recorded in divine memory. Angels are witnesses to your unseen obedience. The enemy thought no one noticed, but heaven took note of everything. You did not serve in vain. You did not forgive in vain. The sowing you've done in secret is about to manifest in public harvest. There is a reason why certain doors closed when you were ready to walk through them. God knew what was waiting on the other side. Sometimes, unanswered prayers are the loudest expressions of His love. If He had given you what you asked for too soon, it might have ruined you. But His mercy delayed the blessing until your heart was strong enough to hold it. Every no was divine redirection, not rejection. And so, chosen one, as heaven's eyes remain fixed on your faithfulness, you must remember that the reward for obedience is never merely material. It is transformational. God rewards with peace, with clarity, with renewed purpose. You are being prepared not just to receive something, but to become someone, a vessel who carries His light wherever you go. You've been trusted with trials because your endurance has inspired heaven. When you wanted to walk away but stayed, when you wanted to complain but worshiped instead, Those moments became incense before the throne. Every time you chose grace over gossip, faith over fear, patience over panic, heaven recorded it. You have passed tests others never recognized. And now, the reward that has been stored in divine vaults is beginning to stir. Heaven operates by principle, not by impulse. That means God's promises are never random. They are responses to your persistence. You've sown consistency in prayer, generosity in spirit, and purity in heart, and God is not unjust to forget your labor. Your time of recognition approaches not as a result of striving, but as the natural outcome of faithful stewardship. As the sacred record declares, as the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This is heaven's message to you today. Your harvest is scheduled. Do not measure your progress by others. Your timeline is not theirs. Your story is uniquely written. When the appointed time comes, no delay, no person, and no opposition can stop what God has decreed for you. Chosen one. There are moments when faith feels lonely. You see others celebrating while you're still waiting. Yet understand this: God does not reveal his plans to everyone. You've been walking a narrow path because it leads to a rare destiny. What looks like isolation is really elevation in disguise. You were never meant to be seen by everyone. You were meant to be noticed by heaven. There's a crown of endurance being prepared for those who stayed true, who did not bend under pressure. When you thought no one cared, heaven applauded. When you whispered prayers through trembling lips, angels echoed them before the throne. You may not realize it, but your quiet perseverance has been shifting the spiritual atmosphere. Darkness trembles at those who keep believing after disappointment. Faithfulness in its purest form is not glamorous, is not. It's the daily choice to keep trusting when everything around you screams otherwise. It's rising again after each fall, knowing that your worth isn't measured by how fast you succeed, but by how deeply you remain rooted in faith. You've demonstrated that kind of faith, and that is why heaven has chosen to honor you openly. There's a divine ledger that never forgets. Every act of mercy, every seed of generosity, every prayer whispered in secret, they all add up in the kingdom's economy. When the fullness of time arrives, the scales tip in your favor. It won't be luck, it will be justice. Heaven remembers what others overlook. Chosen one, prepare your spirit for vindication. Not the kind that embarrasses your enemies, but the kind that elevates you quietly, gracefully. The kind that speaks louder than explanations ever could. You will not need to prove anything. Your fruit will speak for you. God is setting a table before you, and it will be undeniable that his favor rests upon you. But before the manifestation comes, guard your heart. Pride often tries to sneak in right before promotion. Stay humble. Remember who sustained you in obscurity. The same God who walked with you in the valley will guide you on the mountaintop. Your gratitude must remain greater than your gain. Chosen one, the air around you is shifting. The spiritual atmosphere carries a hum, a vibration of destiny. You can sense it deep inside. The divine exchange is approaching. Heaven is preparing to trade your pain for power, your questions for clarity, your endurance for elevation. Everything that has been stripped from you is about to return multiplied. But understand this: God never restores in the same form he removes. He returns it transformed, matured, and blessed. It is as if heaven is the potter, and you, the clay. Every pressure, every reshaping, every season where you felt broken was the artist's hand molding you for his masterpiece. If he had released your blessing before the shaping, it would have cracked under pressure. But now, you are ready. Your structure has been strengthened by suffering. The very things that hurt you have built the walls that can now hold glory. And when that exchange happens, when heaven finally places what was promised into your hands, you will understand that no tear was wasted. Nothing about your journey has been meaningless. Every heartbreak was an ingredient. Every delay was part of the design. Sometimes God allows life to drain us of what we thought we needed, just so He can fill us with what we were truly made for. It's like the soil being torn open before a seed is planted. Painful, yes, but necessary. The breaking makes room for the birthing. You've been plowed by pain, and now heaven will plant joy. The moment you've been carrying in faith will begin to reveal itself piece by piece. Unexpected favor, quiet confirmations, small miracles that feel like whispers from eternity. They will appear like gentle rain before the harvest storm. But remember, when God gives, He also invites gratitude. Every blessing asks the question, will you remember me when you prosper? The voice of Scripture echoes gently here, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old, in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. These words are not just about money, they are about awareness. The greatest poverty is forgetfulness. Do not forget the one who gave you strength in weakness and provision in famine. When the breakthrough arrives, let your heart overflow, not just with joy, but with generosity. Share the light that found you in the dark. Encourage those still waiting. Support the hands that once helped lift you when you were tired. That is how the kingdom multiplies blessings. It circulates love through giving. You are not just a receiver of grace. You are a distributor of hope. The miracle that's coming to you isn't meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow through you like a river nourishing dry land. Think of your giving, your kindness, your faith as seeds scattered into the soil of other lives. Some will bloom in silence, others in splendor, but all will echo your obedience. So when you feel led, let your gratitude become action. Like these messages, so they reach the next weary soul who needs light. Share them so others can find what you found, confirmation in confusion. Subscribe to stay connected, because every word you receive here is another drop from heaven's well. And if your heart ever feels stirred to donate, do it as a sacred offering, not from pressure, but from love. When you sow into what feeds your faith, you are watering the very ground that God uses to grow your blessing. Do not think of giving as loss, it is exchange. The farmer doesn't mourn the seed he buries, he anticipates the field it will become. You can't chosen one are planting into eternity when you give from the heart. And heaven always returns harvest to those who sow with faith. This is how destiny flows. What God gives to you must pass through you. The light you share becomes another's lamp in the night. The encouragement you release becomes healing for a stranger. Your story becomes someone else's survival manual. This is how heaven writes connection between chosen souls. The divine exchange on Friday is not just about what you'll receive, it's about who you'll become. You will no longer be the one praying for a miracle, you will be the miracle. Your life will stand as a testament that obedience opens gates, that surrender leads to strength, and that God never wastes a wound. So prepare your heart with quiet expectation. Continue to move with reverence and gratitude. Keep your focus not on the blessing itself, but on the blesser behind it. The exchange will come not through striving, but through surrender. Let peace be your sign and gratitude be your posture. Chosen one, heaven has been watching you give even when it hurt. That spirit of generosity, that heart of faith, it has reached the throne. This is your confirmation, divine repayment is coming. The exchange will not just return what was taken, it will redefine your entire future. Chosen one, the alignment you've been sensing is not imagination. It is divine synchronization. Heaven is arranging the pieces of your life like a master musician tuning each string before a grand symphony. What felt like chaos was actually calibration. Every disappointment, every delay, every detour was God adjusting your frequency to match His. This is why certain relationships faded, why some opportunities slipped through your fingers, and why doors you were sure would open stayed shut. You thought you were losing, but in truth, you were being aligned. What was out of rhythm with your purpose could not remain. Heaven cannot harmonize with noise. It moves through clarity, through order, through purpose. And now, as Friday draws nearer, you begin to see the subtle signs of divine order unfolding around you. Conversations you didn't expect suddenly bring direction. Closed doors lead to windows of revelation. You notice how peace follows certain paths and tension warns you to turn away. These are not coincidences, they are coordinates. Heaven is guiding you step by step. Prophetic alignment is not about control, it's about surrender. It is the art of trusting divine rhythm even when the melody makes no sense. You've been learning to dance with the Spirit, to move when He moves, to pause when He whispers, and to trust that His steps are leading you somewhere sacred. This dance has required patience, humility, and courage. You see, when heaven aligns something, resistance always rises first. The moment you step into obedience, the enemy panics. He knows your alignment is dangerous. He knows that when you are fully synchronized with heaven's purpose, every chain that bound your past loses its hold. That is why you've felt sudden pressure lately. It's a sign that breakthrough is close. Remember, this truth, divine alignment, often feels like divine disruption. God will shake what is unstable to secure what is eternal. He will rearrange people, places, and priorities until your heart matches His heartbeat. The process is uncomfortable but necessary, because misalignment breeds delay, and God refuses to let you stay in a place that cannot hold your promise. As the word of the Lord was declared long ago, the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 28. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. This verse is not a cliche, it's a compass. It reminds you that even the painful parts of your story are working in harmony for something greater. Chosen one, alignment is not passive. It demands active trust. It requires you to release control over how and when God moves. It calls you to silence your own logic so you can follow divine leading. You must let go of the need to understand and instead embrace the call to obey. What's coming is not random, it's strategic. God has been orchestrating your elevation quietly behind the curtain of confusion. The days before Friday are crucial. Be sensitive to small instructions. Maybe you'll feel prompted to pray for someone. Maybe you'll sense that it's time to forgive, to declutter, to rest, or to step out in faith. Do not dismiss these nudges, they are part of your preparation. Each act of obedience this week fine-tunes your spirit for the release that is coming. You will soon realize that everything has been interconnected. The job you didn't get, the friend who left, the delay that frustrated you, all of it was necessary for your current position. Heaven's alignment is perfect even when it's painful. What seemed like backward movement was actually God setting you up for forward acceleration. This Friday, something spiritual will click into place. You will feel it, an inner peace, a sudden knowing, a confirmation that your waiting has not been wasted. When it happens, do not question it. Simply breathe, receive, and thank Him. you'll understand that what once seemed random was a perfectly timed symphony of grace. Chosen one, your obedience this week is the bridge to your blessing. Your agreement is heaven's permission to move. Stay sensitive. Keep your heart soft, your mind still, your spirit open. Heaven moves where humility abides. And now, as a prophetic act of alignment, I want you to write one number in the comments, 888. It represents new beginnings and divine alignment with eternity. When you type it, do it not as routine, but as declaration. It means, I align with heaven's rhythm. It means, I am ready for what is written. It means, I trust the timing. Let your comment be an echo of faith, a signal to heaven that you are not out of sync anymore. The hands of the divine clock are turning, and your spirit now ticks in perfect time with God's will. Stay still, stay ready, and stay aligned. The shift is closer than you realize. Chosen one, when the divine promise approaches, the enemy often sends one last test. It does not come as thunder, but as subtle distraction. The days before destiny always carry a certain tension in the air, a quiet war between your old life and the one waiting to be born. You may feel the pull of familiar patterns calling you back, whispering that change is too costly, that you can still blend in and be safe. But you already know too much to return. Once heaven has marked you, comfort becomes a cage. You've probably noticed it. Temptations have become louder, small irritations sharper, your patience thinner. That is not coincidence. It is the enemy's attempt to drag you into emotional chaos so that your spirit loses focus. The closer you get to breakthrough, the greater the noise becomes, but don't mistake agitation for defeat. It's a sign that your soul is on the verge of transition. Every new level of grace demands a new level of discipline. God allows these moments not to crush you, but to reveal you. Tests are mirrors. They show us what still needs surrender. When pressure rises, what spills out of you is what was already inside. If resentment surfaces, it means God wants to heal it. If fear reappears, it means faith must grow stronger. Nothing you face this week is wasted. Every trial is a training ground. You are being refined in ways others cannot see. On the surface, everything looks ordinary. But inside, your spirit is in motion. Muscles of patience, trust, and discernment are being stretched. Heaven knows that you cannot carry great glory with fragile character. Before crowns are placed on heads, crosses are placed on shoulders. You have carried yours with quiet endurance, and heaven has noticed. The test before elevation often comes disguised as inconvenience. A delay, a misunderstanding, a temptation to quit. But the mature soul recognizes the pattern. You've seen it before the storm, before the calm, the chaos before clarity. This is the final resistance before reward. The enemy does not fight what is not threatening him. His attacks are confirmation that you are on the correct path. There is an old truth hidden in the sacred writings. As the prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. These words pierce through the fog of indecision. They remind you that neutrality is not safety, it is stagnation. The test of this season is simple. Will you follow divine conviction or human comfort? Heaven is watching your choice. The greatest temptation of the chosen ones is not rebellion, but delay. It's the subtle voice that says, tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll pray deeper. Tomorrow I'll forgive. Tomorrow I'll step into my purpose. But tomorrow is the thief of destiny. The enemy knows he cannot destroy you outright, so he distracts you into postponing obedience. Yet the Spirit of God says, now, not later, not someday, now. Each act of obedience you delay closes a door that might not open again for a season. Chosen one, the test before the table is rarely external, it's internal. Can you still trust when nothing seems to change? Can you love when love is not returned? Can you keep your hands clean when opportunity tempts you to compromise? God does not test to fail you. He tests to reveal your readiness. Every test you pass shortens the distance between you and your divine release. You are being watched, not by people, but by heaven. Angels stand by, waiting for the moment you prove your heart's loyalty. Once you do, the blessing that has been hovering in the unseen will descend quickly. Tests are heaven's final checkpoint before reward. Be mindful of how you respond this week. When irritation rises, choose silence. When fear whispers, choose faith. When temptation calls, choose truth. You are not just passing a test, you are writing your testimony. And soon, others will read it in the light of your victory. The test before the table is sacred. Do not run from it. Sit in it. Pray through it. Praise through it. Because once you pass, the very area that tested you will become the area where God trusts you. The enemy wanted to expose your weakness, but God will reveal your strength. The trial that was meant to exhaust you will instead exalt you. Hold steady, chosen one. The tension you feel is proof of transformation. Something divine is being formed in you, and when this test ends, it will release not just a blessing, but a new identity. You will not come out of this the same. The fire is refining you, not defining you. Endure this final stretch. The test is almost complete. The crown is near. Chosen one, the stillness of these hours hides something holy. While others chase noise and visibility, heaven moves quietly through the shadows. What is unfolding now is not meant for spectacle. It is a sacred visitation. Divine encounters rarely come with thunder, they arrive in still air, when the heart is soft enough to perceive what eyes cannot see. This is the moment when heaven descends unseen, testing not your sight, but your sensitivity. You have prayed for answers, but God has chosen presence instead. The world craves explanations, yet heaven offers encounter. When the Almighty visits, He doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes He breathes in peace, and that peace becomes the message. So if lately you have felt a strange calm, even without visible change, that is no accident. It is heaven walking quietly through your atmosphere. The visitation of God is not about a place, it is about a posture. You don't find Him by running faster, you meet Him by bowing deeper. He draws near not to the loud, but to the listening. And He is near you now, closer than breath, closer than thought. You may not feel fireworks, but there is a divine nearness wrapping around your soul, whispering that you are seen, loved, and known. Chosen one, heaven's presence always carries purpose. God does not visit without intention. His presence heals what your words could never fix. It mends the cracks that even time could not seal. Some of the wounds you carry have lingered not because they are stubborn, but because only divine touch can close them. And that is what is happening now. While you sit in stillness, heaven's hand is rewriting your pain into peace. This visitation is subtle, yet transformative. It comes not to entertain your senses, but to awaken your spirit. When Moses saw the burning bush, it wasn't the fire that changed him, it was the realization that he was standing on holy ground. The presence of God transforms ordinary moments into sacred ones. Right where you are, this moment is holy ground. Sometimes the most powerful encounters happen without spectacle. No audience, no stage, no sound, just you and the divine exchanging silence for strength. You may not even realize the depth of what is being imparted until days later. when you notice old fears no longer hold power, or when peace becomes your natural response to what once shook you. That is how heaven leaves fingerprints quietly, but permanently. The ancient text speaks of such moments as the voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 33, verse 14. "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." These words are not merely history, they are promise alive in you now. You are not walking alone into what comes next. The presence that visited you in secret will accompany you in public. The rest you feel is not laziness, it is divine assurance. You may have noticed how certain conversations no longer interest you, how certain environments feel heavier than before. That is not isolation, that is spiritual elevation. The presence of God has changed your spiritual chemistry. What used to comfort now constrains because you've tasted something purer. Heaven's visitation always leaves a mark, it recalibrates your desires. You no longer crave the noise, you crave the nearness. Be careful not to rush this holy stillness. You are in transition, and transitions require attention. Heaven is doing more in your quiet than in your movement. God is not in a hurry because He is eternal. He moves with precision, not speed. Every second of this silence is strategic. It's God stabilizing your foundation so the weight of the coming blessing won't crush you. Chosen one, do not doubt the reality of this visitation just because it feels gentle. The kingdom often moves like wind felt but unseen. You cannot catch wind, but you can adjust your sails, align your spirit. Let the presence guide you where logic cannot. You may find yourself drawn to unexpected peace, sudden joy, or tears that feel cleansing. Do not resist it. These are the signs that heaven is near. From this visitation, you will rise with clarity, and confusion will fade because light has entered. The same situations that once overwhelmed you will seem smaller. Not because they changed, but because you did. You have been infused with divine rest. The storm will still roar, but you will stand inside it untouched, carrying peace like armor. This moment, though quiet, is the pivot point of your journey. What God imparts here will sustain you for the next season. Do not underestimate it. Cherish it. Protect it. Heaven does not visit twice in the same way. The nearness you feel now is tailor-made for your current battle. Receive it fully, for it will soon transform into strength, wisdom, and unshakable confidence. When the visitation ends and normal life resumes, remember this: you are no longer who you were. Something within you has shifted permanently. You are walking proof that even in silence, God speaks, and even in stillness, He moves. Chosen one, divine interruption is often disguised as inconvenience. You plan, prepare, and expect life to follow a certain pattern, and then suddenly, heaven flips the page. What you thought was stable begins to tremble. What you assumed was certain suddenly unravels. It feels unfair, maybe even cruel. But what if the interruption is not destruction at all? What if it's rescue in disguise? God has a way of stepping into the ordinary moments of your life without warning. You think you're heading in one direction, and He shifts the path completely. This is not punishment, it's precision. You prayed for purpose, and purpose rarely comes wrapped in comfort. Sometimes God must disrupt your routine so He can reroute your destiny. You've likely felt this before. One conversation changes everything. One message awakens something in your soul. One unexpected event pushes you to a place you never imagined. That's what divine interruption looks like. It's heaven saying, "I'm not done with you yet. There's more." Every interruption in your life has carried an invitation to trust again, to move again, to believe again. You may not have recognized it at first because it came clothed in confusion. But now you are learning to see differently. What if the heartbreak that broke you also redirected you to healing? What if the closed door that hurt you was actually a wall protecting you from harm? Chosen one, divine interruptions come when you're too settled in something temporary. God never lets his chosen remain comfortable in places not built for permanence. The shaking is not meant to scare you, it's meant to wake you. The longer you resist, the heavier it feels because you're fighting the flow of grace. Grace is moving forward, not backward. There is wisdom written long ago that echoes even now. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 2, "Every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful." Heaven's pruning is not rejection, it is refinement. When God interrupts, he cuts away what would have limited your next harvest. It hurts, yes, but only because he's touching what you've grown attached to. Yet if you could see the fullness of his plan, you would thank him for every divine interruption. Think about how many times you were delayed, disappointed, or redirected only to later realize it was protection. The relationship that ended saved you years of pain. The opportunity that slipped through your hands spared you from compromise. The closed doors were not curses, they were coordinates, guiding you to where your spirit truly belongs. You are learning to bless the disruptions now. The chosen must learn this sacred rhythm: interruption, revelation, elevation. It's the pattern of heaven. Every interruption exposes what needs to end. Every revelation reveals what needs to begin. And every elevation launches you into what's next. You are currently standing between revelation and elevation. That's why life feels strange, it's mid-transition. Chosen one, do not mourn what is shifting. The comfort you're losing cannot compare to the calling you're gaining. When heaven rearranges your life, it's because your next chapter requires a different version of you. You can't carry yesterday's attachments into tomorrow's assignment. Divine interruption forces release, and release always precedes renewal. If you could see the blueprint of what God is building, you would understand why he's dismantling certain parts now. He's not taking things from you, he's clearing space for you. Your obedience in this interruption will determine how quickly the next door opens. So instead of asking, "Why now?" begin asking, "What are you showing me?" Lord, heaven is saying, trust the redirection. Where you are heading is not random, it's restoration. You are being guided to the very place your prayers prepared you for. Divine interruption always leads to divine introduction. Introduction to new opportunities, new people, new strength. This is not the ending of your story. It's the page-turning moment before revelation. Breathe deeply and know that even the unexpected is sacred. Every detour you've faced is proof that you are still under divine construction. Now, as a prophetic act of surrender and agreement with heaven's redirection, I want you to type these simple words in the comments: "I trust you." Write it not as a reaction, but as revelation. It means you no longer resist what heaven rearranges. It means you are ready to stop clinging to plans that expired. It means you believe that the one who interrupted your path is wise enough to guide your steps. When you write, "I trust you," you give heaven permission to move freely in your life. You exchange control for peace. You tell God, "Even if I don't understand it, I will follow." And when heaven hears those words, the unseen begins to shift in your favor. Chosen one, what feels like interruption is actually invitation. The door that just closed wasn't rejection, it was redirection toward the miracle waiting just ahead. Chosen one, Friday's light begins to rise. The air carries a quiet pulse, something divine. something weighty, something you cannot quite explain. This is the dawn you have waited for through countless nights. You have survived the valley, endured the pruning, passed the tests, and now heaven whispers, "Look up." The darkness that once felt endless is retreating because it can no longer coexist with the brightness being released in you. What happens today is not random. It is the unfolding of every unseen prayer you prayed in weakness, every seed you planted in tears. The ground beneath your feet has been storing divine potential, and now it begins to bloom. The soil of your suffering is cracking open, revealing the first colors of your harvest. Imagine a garden after a long drought, brittle soil, dry stems, silent air. Then suddenly the sky breaks and rain pours down. Every seed once thought dead begins to stir. That is your life right now. The drought has ended. The heavens are open. What was buried will rise. You will see beauty sprout from the very places where you once saw nothing but loss. The ancient scripture captures this moment with timeless truth. As we are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 65, verse 11. You crown the year with your goodness, and your paths drip with abundance. You are stepping into that abundance now, not merely material, but spiritual, emotional, and purposeful. The drought has produced depth, and depth attracts divine rain. But remember, chosen one blessings are not trophies, they are torches. God lights your life so that others can find their way through the dark. You are the candle heaven holds high in a world grown cold. That means your blessing carries responsibility to encourage, to uplift, to serve. Every gift you receive is an opportunity to pour light into someone else's shadows. Let your life become living water to those still thirsty. Some of them will find your words through the messages you've shared. Others will feel heaven's touch through your kindness. When you like, share, or subscribe to what has blessed you, you are not promoting a person, you are planting a seed. Each click, each share is a ripple of light traveling further than your eyes can see. Maybe someone across the world will stumble on your share at their lowest point, just as you once did. Maybe your one act of generosity will become the message that keeps them from giving up. That is how the kingdom multiplies, through quiet acts of obedience done in love. And when your heart stirs, let generosity flow as freely as the blessings you have received. If you ever choose to donate, do it as an offering of gratitude, not duty. Think of it as adding oil to a lamp that burns for countless others. What fuels hope in you can ignite it in another. Giving is not about the amount, it's about agreement. It's your way of saying, I believe in this light, and I want it to keep shining. Chosen one. Generosity does not empty you, it expands you. When you release what you have, heaven releases what you need. Like rivers flowing into the sea, everything you pour out will return in greater measure. The open hand never lacks, because it never stops receiving. So let your blessings move through you like wind through a field, touching everything in its path. Speak encouragement, sow kindness, build bridges. The divine light that visits you today is meant to flow outward. Don't hold it too tightly. Light trapped in a jar fades. Let it breathe. Let it travel. Let it touch. You are the evidence that God still moves in mystery. Your story, once filled with ashes, now glows with redemption, and people around you are hungry for that light. Feed them with hope. Offer them your overflow. The crown you wear today was not placed there to be admired. It was placed there to serve as a beacon. As Friday unfolds, gratitude should be your language. Look around not just at what you have, but at what you've become. You are proof that God turns mourning into melody, waiting into worship, and pain into power. Every scar is now a star guiding someone else home. So lift your eyes, breathe deeply, and step into the light of this day with reverence. What God began in silence, He now reveals in splendor. Heaven has kept its promise. You are walking in the abundance that once lived only in prayer. And when you act, whether by sharing hope, sowing a seed, or simply speaking encouragement, remember this truth: you are part of something eternal. Every small act of faith is a thread in the divine tapestry of redemption. The story is still being woven, and your hands are part of it. Chosen one, the morning of your breakthrough has come. Walk softly in its glow and let your gratitude become your offering. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are the proof of divine reign. Chosen one, when the morning of fulfillment arrives, clarity follows. The fog that once blurred your vision begins to lift, and suddenly, you see purpose woven through every painful thread of your past. It all begins to make sense, not because the pain disappears, but because now you understand what it produced. This is the unveiling of the promise, the moment where mystery gives way to meaning. You remember how it felt in the long nights of confusion, how you questioned whether heaven had forgotten you. You wondered if the waiting was punishment, if your prayers were echoing into emptiness. But now, as light breaks through the memories, you see it clearly. God was not absent. He was aligning. Every silence was a seed. Every unanswered prayer was being answered differently in the soil of your becoming. The unveiling does not come with spectacle. It is subtle, like sunrise creeping gently across a dark horizon. One moment you are surrounded by shadow, and the next, you notice a faint golden line spreading through the sky. That is how revelation arrives, soft but sure, patient but unstoppable. You do not realize when darkness ended. You only realize that it cannot return. What you are beginning to see now is the full architecture of grace. Every detour, every delay, every heartbreak was a necessary beam holding the structure of your destiny together. God did not waste a single detail. He used the broken pieces to build a foundation strong enough to carry the weight of what is being revealed now. This unveiling is not just about what you receive, it's about who you've become. You prayed for a blessing, but God gave you transformation. You asked for open doors, and He gave you discernment. You wanted a miracle, but He made you one. You carry the evidence of His faithfulness not only in your victories, but in your scars. Chosen one, there is divine logic behind every unanswered why. Heaven's wisdom is rarely visible in the moment, but always undeniable in hindsight. God allowed certain things to fall apart because if they had succeeded, they would have distracted you from destiny. He withheld some opportunities because they were too small for the anointing that rests on you now. The pain you thought was delay was actually divine protection in disguise. The Holy Writings remind us of this timeless truth, as it is written in the book of Genesis, chapter 50, verse 20. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. The story of Joseph mirrors yours: betrayed, misunderstood, forgotten, yet divinely positioned. What others meant for harm became the very thing God used to elevate him. The pit was a pathway, the prison a preparation, the pain a prophecy fulfilled. So too with you. Everything that was meant to bury you has instead built you. Every disappointment was a divine direction in disguise. You are standing now in the place you once prayed to reach. Though it looks different than you imagined, God did not just give you what you wanted, He gave you what would last. The unveiling of promise brings more than restoration. It brings realization. You begin to see yourself through heaven's eyes. You are not a survivor, you are a vessel. You are not merely blessed, you are appointed. What once felt like random suffering now reveals itself as divine strategy. Heaven has been scripting your story with precision, and every line leads to redemption. Chosen one. This is why humility must anchor your joy. When blessings begin to multiply, remember who sustained you in lack. When doors open easily, remember the seasons when even one crack of light felt like a miracle. Gratitude guards the heart from arrogance. It reminds you that favor is not a trophy but a trust. The unveiling of promise also brings responsibility. Now that you have seen what God can do, you must walk in what He requires. To whom much is given, much is expected. Your insight is not for pride but for purpose. The revelation you carry is meant to illuminate the paths of those still walking through the shadows you once knew. Take time to reflect on how far you've come. Notice the difference in how you handle storms now. The same winds that once shook you now strengthen you. The fears that once ruled you no longer have authority. That's transformation, and it's the true evidence of divine unveiling. And remember, revelation continues. Just because you see one layer doesn't mean the story is finished. God will keep unfolding deeper understanding as you walk forward. Every step you take will reveal another piece of His plan. You will keep discovering that His faithfulness extends further than you ever dreamed. Chosen one. Breathe deeply and let gratitude fill your spirit. You've reached a sacred stage, the unveiling after the endurance. You are living in the light of answered prayers. And from this day forward, may you never again doubt the wisdom of waiting. Heaven never forgets a faithful heart. Chosen one, now that the promise has begun to unfold, heaven turns your attention to something deeper, the reward of obedience. Many look for blessings in material form, but the true treasure is invisible peace that can't be shaken, clarity that can't be stolen, and a spirit so anchored that even storms become your teachers. This is the wealth heaven releases only to the faithful. There were moments you obeyed without understanding. Moments when obedience cost you relationships, opportunities, even comfort. You could have chosen the easier road, but something in you refused to betray your calling. You obeyed through confusion, trusted through silence, and kept walking even when the path disappeared beneath your feet. Heaven saw it all. Obedience may look small to others, but in the spirit realm, it thunders. God values obedience more than sacrifice because obedience flows from love, not pride. Sacrifice can come from ambition. Obedience comes from devotion. You didn't obey for applause, you obeyed because your heart could no longer live without His voice. And that, chosen one, is what separates you from the crowd. It's easy to say, "Lord, I believe," when blessings flow. But real faith is built in the tension between command and confusion. When God told you to let go, and you did. When He said, "Be still," and you stayed. When He whispered, "Forgive," and you obeyed despite the pain. Those were the invisible victories that made heaven rejoice. The ancient word bears witness to this truth, as the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not delay. Your obedience to wait was not wasted time, it was holy alignment. Each moment of patience prepared you for a blessing that could arrive only in maturity. Obedience is a slow builder, it carves endurance into the soul. Every time you said yes to God's will, even when your heart screamed no, something eternal was being built within you. Heaven uses obedience as the mortar that strengthens destiny's walls. That is why what you're stepping into now cannot be shaken, because it was built with the cement of surrender. Many around you will marvel at what begins to manifest in your life, but few will understand the cost. They will see the light without realizing the nights it took to produce it. You've been tested in secret so you can be trusted in the open. That is heaven's way. Chosen one. Remember, God's blessings often come wrapped in responsibility. You are now being entrusted with greater influence, greater favor, and greater spiritual authority. But with it comes a divine expectation to remain humble, compassionate, and generous. You are blessed not just to receive, but to reflect. Every blessing you hold must mirror heaven's heart. Do not grow weary in obedience. The world will tell you that compromise is easier, that shortcuts lead to success. But shortcuts build sandcastles, while obedience builds kingdoms. Those who wait upon the Lord inherit what cannot be taken. That is why your blessing will last. It is built on obedience, not opportunism. Chosen one, as you walk forward, and stay sensitive to the gentle pull of the Spirit. Obedience is not a one-time act. It's a lifelong rhythm. Some days it will call for boldness, other days for restraint. But each act keeps you in step with divine flow. There will be moments when obedience feels costly again. Remember then that reward is always waiting on the other side. Sometimes heaven hides the reward just long enough to see if your obedience is real. Will you still follow when there's no applause? Will you still trust when there's no visible result? You already have. And that's why heaven is releasing what has been stored. You will soon see the harvest of your unseen yeses. The doors that open now will not swing on human hinges. They will open at the sound of your obedience echoing through the heavens. What once resisted you will now respond to you, because obedience carries authority. As a prophetic act of agreement with heaven's timing, I invite you to type the number 555 in the comments. It symbolizes grace multiplied, divine favor expanding through obedience. When you write it, do it as a declaration, not decoration. You're saying, my obedience is my offering. You're saying, I trust the divine timing of what's unfolding. That single act connects your faith to movement. It turns acknowledgement into alignment. When heaven sees your willingness, favor accelerates. The same grace that sustained your waiting will now empower your walking. Chosen one. Obedience has opened the floodgates. The reward is not just coming, it's flowing. It will touch your mind with peace, your home with restoration, your future with purpose. Everything you yielded will return multiplied. Stay steady, keep obeying. The same voice that led you through the wilderness is now leading you into overflow. And when people ask how you made it, you'll smile and say, I listened and I stayed. Chosen one. When God begins to reward obedience, the atmosphere around you shifts. What was once quiet now begins to echo with recognition, not from people, but from heaven. The very forces that once opposed you begin to bow to divine order. Your enemies, both visible and invisible, become spectators to what they tried to silence. This is not revenge, it is revelation. God is revealing what he had been building all along, and the unveiling silences every accusation without a word from you. There is a moment in every divine story when heaven itself steps forward to speak on your behalf. You don't have to defend your name or explain your path. The favor resting on your life becomes your argument, your vindication, your evidence. What once required your voice now needs only your fruit. And as the light of God begins to rest upon you more visibly, the world will see that you were not lucky, you were loyal. You've endured misunderstanding, gossip, and rejection. People misread your silence as weakness, your distance as pride, your boundaries as rebellion. But you held your peace. You resisted the urge to fight for your own reputation, because you knew that true vindication comes from heaven, not from human validation. You chose to remain still while God built the stage for your comeback. And now, that stage is set. The same people who once doubted you will soon witness what faithfulness produces. The time of mockery becomes the time of marvel. This is what divine justice looks like. It does not humiliate others. It honors righteousness. The hand of God lifts you in such a way that even your enemies must acknowledge His authority. The word of truth confirms it. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 18. The Lord will rescue me from every evil attack and will bring me safely to His heavenly kingdom. To Him be glory forever and ever. This is not only a promise of protection, it is a prophecy of completion. You will not merely survive the attacks, you will thrive beyond them. Every evil intention, every false word, every obstacle designed to break you will serve only to build your testimony. Chosen one, when God silences your enemies, He does it not by striking them down, but by elevating you so high that their words lose reach. There will come a day, sooner than you think, when the same voices that mocked you will whisper your name in reverence. Not because you sought it, but because heaven's favor demands it. Light doesn't argue with darkness, it simply shines until shadows retreat. Do not mistake vindication for victory over people. The true triumph is over bitterness, over the need to prove yourself, over the temptation to repay evil for evil. God's justice is never about humiliation, it's about illumination. When His light falls upon you, those who once misunderstood you will finally see you for who you are: chosen, refined, unstoppable. Think of Joseph once more, the dreamer betrayed by brothers, forgotten in prison, yet destined for the palace. When his moment of vindication came, he did not curse his betrayers, he fed them. His greatness was not in his power, but in His mercy. That is your call now, chosen one. As God raises you, stay soft-hearted. Let your blessing speak louder than your bitterness. You will notice that the tables turn quietly. One day, you'll wake up and realize that the people or situations that used to keep you anxious no longer have that power. The energy that once drained you now fuels you. The weapons that were formed against you have not only failed, they've become reminders of how strong you've become. This season of vindication is also a mirror. It reflects your transformation. You no longer seek validation from those who misjudged you. You simply bless them and move forward. You have learned that proving yourself is unnecessary when purpose itself is proof. There is dignity in divine vindication. It doesn't scream or boast, it stands. Steady and radiant. You will not need to announce your elevation. Heaven will do that for you. People will see the peace in your eyes, the authority in your words, the fruit of your endurance, and they will know God is with you. Chosen one. The silence of your enemies will be the sound of your victory, not because they have been defeated, but because grace has triumphed. You will walk among them with the quiet strength of one who knows who holds their destiny. No bitterness, no arrogance, just peace. Hold your head high, not in pride, but in gratitude. The God who defended you in private is now displaying His faithfulness in public. What was whispered against you in secret will be overshadowed by what God shouts in blessing. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your reign in grace. You are living proof that those who stand firm in faith never stand alone. Chosen one, the weight of blessing often surprises those who prayed for it. You thought the hardest part was waiting, but the real challenge comes in carrying what you once only dreamed of. blessings are heavy, not because they are burdens, but because they come wrapped in responsibility. You prayed for influence, and God gave you impact. You prayed for open doors, and heaven handed you keys that fit not only opportunity but stewardship. This is where many stumble, mistaking answered prayers for arrival, when in truth, they are assignments. The divine promotion you now walk in is not a reward, it is a calling to higher accountability. When heaven elevates you, it also expects you to rise in integrity, compassion, and discipline. To be chosen is not to be comfortable, it is to be commissioned. You have become a representative of the unseen, a carrier of divine purpose in human form. Every word you speak, every action you take, now echoes beyond the visible. You may feel the tension of it, the pressure to remain faithful, the fear of misstep, the temptation to shrink back into anonymity. But remember this, the same God who called you will sustain you. The hands that lifted you will never let you fall without grace. Divine responsibility is not about perfection, it's about persistence. The righteous are not those who never stumble, but those who never stay down. This season will demand wisdom. Not every opportunity is divine. Not every voice deserves response. Not every open door leads to purpose. As your influence grows, discernment must grow with it. The higher the mountain, the thinner the air. Pride, distraction, and fatigue can suffocate if you climb without awareness. But humility and prayer become your oxygen. Heaven entrusts responsibility to those who remember the source. That's why your foundation was built in hardship, because only the humbled can handle holy weight. You learned dependence in the valley so that pride would not overtake you on the mountain. Every low place you endured was training for leadership now. The sacred writings reveal this principle, as the apostle reminds us in his first letter to Peter, chapter 4, verse 10. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. These words are not a suggestion, they are a divine blueprint. The gift is not yours to keep, it is heaven's property loaned to you for service. The grace you've received must now flow through you, touching lives, healing hearts, and reminding others that light still lives in the world. Chosen one. Leadership in the kingdom is different from leadership in the world. The world seeks status. The kingdom seeks service. You are not above anyone, you are beneath them, lifting them higher. Greatness in heaven's eyes is measured not by crowns worn, but by feet washed. To be chosen is to kneel, not to boast. Responsibility also means restraint. The power you carry could be misused if you forget its purpose. Resist the urge to prove yourself. You do not need to match energy with those who misunderstand you. Your peace is your proof. Responding to every critic is like watering weeds, it only helps them grow. Let silence be your strength and focus be your defense. As you step further into this new season, there will be people drawn to your light. Some will come to receive, others will come to drain. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Do not harden your heart, but guard it. Boundaries do not mean coldness, they mean stewardship. You are not called to please everyone, but to please the one who sent you. The weight of calling will sometimes feel lonely. Few will understand the sacrifices required, the nights of intercession, the hidden battles behind the public grace. But heaven sees, and every unseen act of obedience continues to build your crown. Remember, the greatest servants often walk unseen until heaven decides to display them. Chosen one. This is your moment to stand firm, not as one who has arrived, but as one who has been assigned. What you carry now is sacred. It is not about fame, it's about faithfulness. Not about numbers, but souls. Not about applause, but impact. The kingdom advances through quiet, consistent hearts that refuse to compromise. So, walk humbly, love deeply, lead gently. Carry the mantle with honor. You are the reflection of a promise fulfilled, a living testimony that when God trusts you with much, it is because He has found you trustworthy with little. And when you grow weary, remember that responsibility is not a weight you carry alone. The same Spirit that anointed you will sustain you. Chosen one. This chapter of your journey is about legacy. What you build now will outlive you. Let it echo with integrity. Let it shine with mercy. Let it speak of a life that chose service over self. That is the true mark of the chosen. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and breathe. Feel that gentle stirring in your spirit. It is heaven reminding you that you are not done yet. You have climbed through valleys, walked through fire, and crossed rivers that others thought would drown you. Yet here you stand, refined, radiant, and resolute. This moment is not just about surviving, it's about shining. The light in you has been trimmed, tested, and now burns brighter than ever before. You see, fire never destroys gold, it reveals it. And the flames you faced were not meant to end you, they were meant to expose the purity that was always within. You are walking proof that endurance births excellence. Every trial carved away another layer of fear until all that was left was faith. You no longer react like before. You respond with wisdom, grace, and authority born of experience. That is how heaven shapes its warriors, not in comfort, but in challenge. The season you've entered now is one of overflow, but overflow, like a river, is meant to move. Blessings are not meant to sit stagnant. They are designed to flow outward, nourishing every soul they touch. You are no longer called to hide your light under the weight of humility misunderstood. This is your time to pour out, to speak, to share, to give, to bless. Imagine your journey as a lighthouse standing on the shore. The waves still crash, storms still rage, but the light never wavers. Ships find direction not because the lighthouse moves, but because it remains steady. That is you now, a living lighthouse. You've been through enough storms to guide others home. Your consistency becomes someone else's survival. There is a sacred beauty in that, chosen one. Heaven does not elevate you just to decorate you. It raises you to illuminate others. So, as this word finds you today, let your gratitude become action. When you like, share, or comment on these messages, you're not just engaging with content, you're sending light into digital spaces where darkness often dwells. Your interaction becomes a ripple that might reach someone who desperately needs hope tonight. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. These words are not a suggestion, they are a commission. You shine not for recognition, but for reflection, so that others may glimpse God's goodness through your grace. Think of it like passing a torch down a long corridor. You may never meet the next person who sees it, but your flame could be the one that keeps their faith alive. The kingdom grows through connection, through little acts of obedience that multiply across unseen hearts. And if your heart ever feels stirred to donate, do it not out of obligation, but out of partnership. Every seed sown into words that feed the soul becomes a vessel for expansion. Imagine it like planting trees in a barren land. Each contribution becomes a shelter for weary travelers who stumble across this light. You're not giving to a platform, you're giving through it, letting your generosity echo in the lives of others. These messages are not mere words, they are living streams. And every time you support, share, or speak life over them, You help those streams reach further. Someone out there is standing where you once stood, searching for a sign, a word, a reason to hold on. You have the power to be that bridge, chosen one. Remember how a candle loses nothing by lighting another. That's what happens when you spread encouragement. The warmth that has comforted you can now comfort others. This is how heaven multiplies hope through the faithful who refuse to stay silent after being saved. Your journey has made you both student and teacher, receiver and giver, healed and healer. The same grace that carried you through the storm now calls you to carry others through theirs. When you share truth, you release medicine into the world's chaos. When you give, you release movement into what once felt stuck. So today, stand tall, not in pride but in purpose. Let your actions mirror your gratitude. Every like becomes a small prayer, every share a spark of testimony, every donation a seed of faith planted into eternity. And when you comment, let it come from your heart, let it be your declaration of agreement with heaven. Write what stirs within you. Your words may become the balm for someone else's soul. You are not just a listener, you are a light bearer. Heaven has chosen you as a living reminder that miracles are not myths, they are moments wrapped in obedience. When you move in love, you become an extension of divine grace. Chosen one, your voice matters, your presence matters, your faith matters. What you do with your light now determines how far it will reach. So don't hide it, release it. Pour into the world what heaven has poured into you. Because somewhere, beyond the screen and the sound of your heartbeat, another chosen one waits to feel what you now carry: peace after the storm, strength after surrender, and purpose after pain. Let your light flow. Let gratitude move. Let heaven's story continue through your hands. Chosen one, heaven keeps record not of fame, but of faith. Every quiet act of trust, every whispered prayer, every decision to stand when it would have been easier to retreat, all of it has been written in divine ink. Nothing escapes the gaze of God. The world might forget the nights you wept in silence, but heaven has stored every tear in its vault of remembrance. What you speak, what you do, and what you believe in this sacred stretch between promise and fulfillment matters more than you realize. Every response is recorded, not to condemn, but to crown. Heaven is not measuring perfection, it is measuring persistence. Each time you chose to love instead of hate, to forgive instead of resent, to rise instead of crumble, the angels marked it down as victory. In this divine ledger, faith is currency. Your words have power, your choices have weight, and your consistency carries eternal value. The smallest act of faith, an encouraging word, a prayer whispered for someone else, a quiet moment of gratitude echoes louder in heaven than any shout of complaint. The record of your life is not written by your failures, but by your faith that outlasted them. You are not unnoticed. God sees not only your actions, but the motives behind them. He knows when you gave without expecting return, when you helped though no one thanked you, when you prayed for others while your own heart was breaking. Those unseen moments carry greater glory than any public display. Heaven rewards what humility hides. This is why character matters more than applause. The loudest accolades fade, but integrity endures. You are building a legacy that outlives titles, achievements, or recognition. What you write in heaven's record is not measured by human applause, it is measured by obedience, sincerity, and love. As the apostle wrote in the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him as you have helped his people. These words are divine assurance that nothing done in love is ever lost. Heaven does not have a trash bin. It has a treasury. Every pure deed is preserved and multiplied in eternity. chosen one. Perhaps you've wondered why your acts of kindness sometimes go unnoticed, or why your loyalty is seldom returned. It's because you were never meant to be repaid by people. Earthly rewards would only cheapen the eternal weight of what you've sown. God Himself will repay in His way, in His time, and when He does, it will exceed every expectation. Your life has been a sermon preached not by your words, but by your endurance. You have demonstrated that faith is not fragile, that hope is not naive, and that love, when tested, becomes divine. The record of your faith is being written line by line, page by page, not in ink, but in light. When heaven looks at you, it doesn't see failures or flaws, it sees the brilliance of someone who refused to give up. Heaven's record of you is not static, it grows as you grow. Every time you learn, forgive, and surrender, another chapter is added. Even your mistakes are redeemed, edited by grace until they read like lessons, not losses. God is both author and editor of your story, and He never wastes a single word. In this season, you may sense reflection rising in your spirit, the urge to look back, to trace the lines of your journey. That's heaven's way of reminding you how far you've come. Look carefully, the same valleys that once held your tears now echo with testimony. The mountains that intimidated you now stand behind you, conquered. What you once prayed for, you are now living in. Chosen one, the divine record of your response is almost complete. The pen of heaven does not stop when blessings come, it continues, capturing your gratitude, your humility, your stewardship. What you do with this favor will be written as surely as what you did in hardship. This is the continuity of faith, to be as faithful in abundance as you were in lack. The mark of the mature soul is consistency. You no longer love God because of what He gives, you love Him because of who He is. That is the greatest entry heaven can write beside your name. It is the ultimate testimony they remained steadfast. You may never see the fullness of your record on this side of eternity, but when heaven opens its books, every silent yes will shine like gold. Every time you loved, believed, forgave, or waited faithfully will stand as eternal evidence that your heart belonged to God. Chosen one, heaven remembers. You have not been overlooked. You have been observed with love. The ink is still flowing, and your story still unfolds. Continue to live with the awareness that each choice you make writes another line in a book that will never fade. Chosen one, the journey has brought you here to the quiet edge of completion. The wind feels different now. It no longer howls with resistance. It hums with reverence. Heaven has turned the final page of this season, and your spirit can sense the shift. What once was struggle is now strength. What once was mystery has become meaning. You stand not as the wounded, but as the wise. Every thread of your journey has been woven into this moment of divine fullness. What began as broken pieces has become a mosaic of grace. You can finally see how the dark and the light, the laughter and the tears, all work together to form something sacred. Heaven's design has never been random, it has always been refinement. And now, you walk in the wholeness that only divine fire could produce. You have learned the sacred rhythm of surrender. You have discovered that peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of trust. You know now that even unanswered prayers were hidden blessings, and that every delay was divine choreography. What you once called waiting, heaven called weaving threads of purpose interlaced in perfect order. This is the crown after confirmation, not a golden ornament, but a spiritual mantle. You wear it not on your head, but in your heart. It is the quiet authority of one who has seen God move and cannot be shaken again. It's the calm in your tone, the steadiness in your steps, the compassion in your eyes. That is what the crown looks like. It's not glitter, it's glory. Chosen one. This glory is not loud. It does not demand attention. It radiates softly like sunlight after rain. You do not need to announce your transformation. Your peace announces it for you. You have become living evidence of divine craftsmanship. Heaven has not only given you a crown, it has entrusted you with the responsibility to carry it with humility. The sacred writings describe such moments of divine culmination. As the Apostle Paul declared in his second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." These are not just words of closure, they are the anthem of completion. You, too, have fought the good fight. You have endured storms that would have shattered others. You have finished not in pride, but in peace. Completion in the kingdom is not the end, it is transition. One season closes so another may open. The work within you is done, but the work through you is just beginning. You have graduated from survival to service, from prayer for rescue to prayer for purpose. What you've endured has become the very language through which heaven will now speak to others. This is what divine maturity looks like. You no longer crave clarity, you crave closeness. You no longer chase signs, you embody them. You no longer ask, "When will it happen?" because you have learned to trust that whatever God allows is already perfect in timing. This is freedom, the ability to rest in divine rhythm without fear of falling out of step. Chosen one. Your life has become a living sanctuary. Wherever you walk, peace follows. People may not understand why they feel lighter around you, but it's because you carry the residue of heaven. You are the evidence that pain, when surrendered, becomes power, that loss, when blessed, becomes legacy. Your scars have turned into scriptures that preach without words. Now, as heaven closes this chapter, you stand as both witness and wonder. You have seen God's faithfulness, Naomo, and you are God's faithfulness revealed. You carry the fragrance of endurance, the sound of serenity, and the vision of eternity. The race was never about speed. It was about surrender, and you have crossed the line with grace. Do not mourn the ending, for endings in God's language are beginnings in disguise. The same hand that wrote your trials now writes your triumphs. The same voice that called you in weakness now commissions you in strength. You are not being dismissed. You are being deployed. Walk forward with quiet courage. Let gratitude be your crown and compassion your armor. What you've received was never meant to be contained. It was meant to overflow. Wherever you go, let others find traces of heaven in your presence. Let your life whisper what your lips no longer need to say. God was faithful, and He still is. The journey has come full circle, yet it continues. The seed has become fruit, and the fruit will become seed again. That is the rhythm of divine purpose, eternal, continuous, alive. You have finished one race only to begin another. But this time you run not to prove yourself, but to express what you've already become. Chosen, crowned, complete. Chosen one, lift your eyes. The horizon glows with promise once more. The story continues, but this time you write from victory. Chosen one, you have reached the end of this divine journey, but in truth, there is no ending, only unfolding. The words you've read were never just sentences, they were seeds. And those seeds are now taking root within you, growing into quiet strength and radiant peace. You've walked through revelation, through fire, through restoration, and through glory. Now you stand not merely informed, but transformed. Look back and see how far you've come. Each section you walked through was a mirror of your own becoming. Heaven has been guiding you, whispering between the lines, shaping your heart one truth at a time. This wasn't just a message, it was a meeting, an encounter between your spirit and the divine call that has always been waiting for your yes. You are different now, softer in spirit yet stronger in purpose, lighter in burden, yet heavier in wisdom. The same hands that held you in sorrow now release you in strength. You carry something rare, faith that has been tested and found pure. And now, chosen one, let this moment ripple beyond you. If these words touch something sacred inside your soul, let them travel further, like this message, so that it lives longer. Share it so it finds the one who's still in the storm you've already survived. When you subscribe, that you're not just joining a channel, you're stepping into a continual flow of light and encouragement that keeps heaven's voice echoing in your everyday life. And when you comment, don't just type from habit, write from heart. Speak what you've felt, what you've seen, what you've learned. Your words may become the confirmation someone else prayed for tonight. Remember, light multiplies when it moves. What you pass on returns to you multiplied in grace. Keep the flame alive, keep the message moving, and keep walking as one who has seen God's hand and will never again doubt His plan. You are and will always be God's chosen one.